Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving headfirst into the King of Swords, one of the most commanding and cerebral cards in the entire deck. If you've met someone who seems effortlessly sharp, decisive and maybe a little intimidating, you've met a real-life King of Swords. Hi, I'm Gemma, and here on the Soul Files we do deep dive videos like this. I'm currently working through every tarot card. I also cover astrology and witchcraft on this channel, so if that's your thing, it would mean a lot to me if you could hit that subscribe button. I also have a course of mini tutorials coming in January for channel members and Patreon supporters, where I break down all of this stuff in bite-sized lessons, which I'm very excited for. Now, I am aware this video is long. That is intentional. I understand that most of you probably won't sit through this all in one go, although the King of Swords himself certainly would, but that's okay. This video is designed for your continued learning practice. You can return to it, check in on whichever chapter suits your mood that day, take notes and build up or perhaps even start your tarot journal. Think of this series as your learn at your own pace companion for your tarot journey. Before we get into the details, let's pause just for a moment and talk court cards. Court cards are a special category in the minor arcana. They represent people, personalities, and processes. They are multidimensional in terms of rank, role, personality, and developmental stage. And today we'll be mostly referencing the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but do remember other decks may offer different symbolism and nuances, and that is perfectly fine. Tarot is personal. Your deck speaks to you, not anyone else. There are more videos like this looking at other cards in the Tarot Tutorials long format playlist on this channel, so if your curiosity survives this one, there's plenty more for you to dive into. Court cards and what makes them special. Court cards differ from the numbered or pip cards and the major arcana in several ways. Pip cards show situations, events, or energies. Major arcana cards represent overarching life lessons, archetypes, and karmic forces. Court cards, on the other hand, symbolize people, personalities, or processes of thought, action, or emotional maturity. Within court cards, we categorize them in multiple ways: rank and role, page, knight, queen, king. Personality archetype. You can think of the King of Swords as like the ultimate strategist, a lawyer, or a philosopher. Maturity level or developmental stage. Pages are learning, knights are exploring, queens nurture, and kings are the masters. Astrological subsigns. Each court card has subtle links to the zodiac, although these are much less obvious than the astrological connections to the other cards. Interpersonal dynamics. How they influence others and how they interact socially. Rank and role. This is our first layer of understanding when it comes to court cards. Later we'll look at how each rank also links to an elemental force, but that's a slightly more complex discussion, so we'll get to it in due time. For now, we're just setting the groundwork. In the structure of the courts, we have 4 ranks: page or princess, knight or prince, queen and king, and each represents a stage of development and a different mode of expression for the suit's energy. Pages are the learners and the messengers. Knights are the movers, dynamic, sometimes reckless energy in motion. Queens embody mastery through depth, intuition, and internal power, and kings represent mastery through structure, logic, and outward authority. Now, it's important to note that this does not place the kings above the queens. The two sit side by side, manifesting mastery in different but equally powerful ways. The queen internalizes and nurtures her element, whereas the king externalizes and directs it. They are essentially two halves of the same whole. So when we talk about the King of Swords, we're looking at the embodiment of air in its most refined and structured form. This is intellect turned into strategy, thought turned into action, and truth turned into leadership. When that energy tips too far, it can become detached, overly rational, or even authoritarian. This is intellect without compassion. But we'll get to that when we start discussing reversals and the shadow side of this king. Suit and elemental correspondence. The King of Swords belongs to the suit of swords, which is governed by the element of air. Air represents the realm of the mind, intellect, logic, communication, reasoning, ideas, and truth. This air energy is what differentiates the King of Swords from the other kings. Each king rules his domain. Cups govern emotion, water, wands governs passion and action, fire, and pentacles govern the material world, earth. The King of Swords rules the kingdom of intellect. His authority comes from clarity and reason. Now, the King of Swords has a bit of a reputation. Some readers see him as the mean king, and honestly, they're not wrong, not really. He definitely doesn't have the warmth of the King of Cups, or the enthusiasm of the King of Wands, or the steady reassurance of the King of Pentacles. His energy can come across as cold and robotic and analytical. This is someone who is usually right, at least technically and logically. This is someone who will tell you the truth no matter how much it stings. They don't seem to mind if the truth hurts because clarity and honesty matter more than softening the blow, at least to them. Chances are you know someone like this in real life. That friend, colleague or mentor who tells it like it is, regardless of how that might make someone else feel. They view truth as their priority. If you look terrible in a new outfit, the King of Swords is going to tell you straight up. They are the person you go to when you're ready for the truth, but you might avoid if you actually just wanted a bit of gentle validation. This person is going to give you practical solutions, not a warm hug. Some people really respect the energy of the King of Swords, but many do struggle to cope with it. In that energy, the sword that he holds reminds us that truth can cut. The sword is sharp, air can be cold. The King of Swords doesn't soften his words to spare your feelings. He believes that clarity is kindness. In essence, the King of Swords is the mind at full power. It's precise, objective, and unflinching. He reminds us that wisdom isn't always gentle, but it is always necessary. Symbolism and imagery. The King of Swords sits on a solid throne, and the first thing I'd like to draw your attention to is the way he sits. Straightforward, not leaning east or west, not angled or relaxed like many of the other court cards. No. Instead, he is staring you down. Many of the major arcana cards communicate their presence in a similar way, but it is rare for a court card to hold this same energy. What this communicates is clear. The King of Swords is about the now. He's not reflecting on the past, and he's not dreaming of the future. He is fully anchored in the present moment, and that presence demands attention. We will speak more about this in the direction and movement chapter. His clothing is rich in symbolism. A light blue robe with red peeking out at his sleeves and toes, and the hood and the inside of his cloak. His outer cloak is a deep purple, a colour not often seen in tarot, which marks this king as special. Purple is a royal colour. Esoterically, these colours carry layered meanings. Light blue represents clarity, mental focus, communication, truth, and calm authority. It's the colour of intellect, the sky, all aligned with the King of Swords' mastery of thought. Red is a spark of vitality, courage, and life force. It reminds us that even in the cool, rational domain of air, there is energy, action, and the human drive that motivates decisions. Red peeking from beneath his robe and cloak signals that his intellect is tempered by the ability to act decisively. And purple, a rare colour in tarot, symbolises spiritual mastery, sovereignty, wisdom, and higher consciousness. Purple marks him as someone who has reached the pinnacle of his suit's development, a ruler of intellect. The air element dominates the scene on this card. In the background, the sky is blue, dotted with static clouds and distant birds. The king's air is still, steady, and controlled. It's not like the rushing momentum of the Knight of Swords. The trees in the background are unmoved, their branches still, as if the wind itself defers to the authority of the king. The ground beneath him shows hints of fertility and greenery, suggesting that reason and intellect are not sterile, but they are capable of growth and cultivation. A teeny tiny mountain appears in the very far distance. It's drawn smaller through depth perception so that it sits behind the king and beneath his stature. Unlike the large, imposing mountains of some of the other cards, this signals that challenges and obstacles have already been faced in some way, perhaps even overcome. They still exist, for sure. The mountain is there after all, but he is not concerned. The king stands above it. His crown is gold and simple, featuring a partial caduceus at the centre, wisdom and balance and mastery of thought and communication. The throne features butterflies, symboling transformation of thought, sylphs representing the harmony of the natural and spiritual forces, and two crescent moons facing inward, which suggest balance, reflection, and the integration of opposites. Sylphs are a type of air element, or fae, ethereal beings associated with intellect and mental clarity. One of the Golden Dawn titles for this card is King of the Sylphs and Sylphides, emphasizing the king's deep connection to these airy, intellectual forces. He holds his sword upright, pointing north, reinforcing the immediacy of truth that we have already noted. He's not waving his sword around manically like the Knight of Swords, of course he isn't. But he's definitely not ignoring it like the page either. The sword is simply there. It's the truth, objective and unwavering, regardless of how anybody might feel about that. This card's imagery, from the still air and grounded greenery to the distant mountain and the regal symbolic crown, communicates a mastery of thought, clarity, and the power of intellect applied with authority. The king is calm, deliberate, and present, a figure who represents the pinnacle of mental clarity and rational decision-making. Movement and direction. When it comes to movement and direction, the King of Swords is unique among the court cards. He is the only court card who stares directly at the querent with unwavering intensity. Other kings, queens, and even pages or knights might face forward, but there's usually a subtle lean or a tilt of the head or body suggesting observation, reflection, or approach. The King of Swords is unflinching, seated straight, his gaze fixed, his posture perfectly upright, as if he's looking straight into your soul, methodically weighing what you will do with the truth that he holds. This forward-facing position is not casual or decorative. He is demanding engagement from the person who is being read for. He is observing, perhaps with interest. It's like he's speaking to you and saying, "Look, here is the truth. What will you do with it?" Everything in the card amplifies this sense of focus, The trees in the background are still, the clouds unmoving, and the birds distant, creating a calm, almost suspended environment. He's patient while he waits for your answer to his question. His sword points north, aligning with the element of air, direction, purpose, and clarity, all fused into a single upright motion. Honestly, everything about the direction and movement, or lack of, in this card is kind of confrontational. Mythological and allegorical meaning. The King of Swords is the archetype of fair, rational judgment and intellectual mastery. Across history and myth, we've seen loads of figures who embody the qualities that he represents. I'm thinking of Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom, strategy, and skill in both war and diplomacy. Athena was respected for her ability to make calm, rational choices even in the midst of chaos. She embodies the same intellectual authority that the King of Swords channels. And in a similar way, Solomon, the biblical king, serves as a human example. He was famous for rendering judgments with fairness and logic. The King of Swords is not just about historical or mythological figures, though. He represents an archetypal force. He is the embodiment of thought made action, intellect wielded with authority, and judgment guided by principle rather than emotion. In literature and folklore, you can see echoes of this archetype in figures like Merlin at his advisory peak, or the strategic cunning of Ulysses, or even Gandalf the White, whose wisdom, clarity, and decisive action guides others. Gender polarity and energy expression. The King of Swords is traditionally associated with masculine energy. All of the kings are, in their own unique ways, but let's be clear. This has nothing to do with biology, gender identity, or physical sex. It's about energy expression. The king embodies yang qualities, decisiveness, logic, structure, and outward action. Anyone, man, woman, or non-binary, can embody this energy when the situation calls for it. It's not about who you are, it's about how you channel your energy. For contrast, consider the Four of Cups. This is a card that embodies almost the opposite energy. The Four of Cups expresses yin qualities, reflective, receptive, and inward focused, while the King of Swords is outward, analysing, and assertive. The Four of Cups is contemplative, intuitive, and emotionally in tune, or sulky if you prefer. One is active and decisive, and the other is still and introspective. Understanding gender polarity and energy expression in this way helps clarify why the King of Swords feels so commanding and present. He is actively engaging with the world. He's not passively receiving or reacting to it. Seasonal association. The King of Swords is strongly associated with winter. This is a season of stillness, clarity, and structure. Winter strips the landscape to its bare essentials. Trees without leaves, crisp air, that kind of, cold wintry stuff. In a similar way, the king strips away confusion, illusions, and emotional noise. For the Northern Hemisphere, this corresponds roughly from December, January to February, and in the Southern Hemisphere, the same energies are reflected in June, July, and August. The cold, still months when nature slows down, because when all is still and quiet, clarity of thought can arise. The association with winter is also symbolically aligned with the element of air, which can be cold, crisp, and clean. Night and day and light and dark themes. The King of Swords is associated with daylight, but it is important to note that this is not a soft, warm, dappled light filtering through leafy trees or window blinds like you might see in a card such as the Four of Wands. There are different kinds of light, and the King of Swords light is cold and sharp and uncompromising. This is the kind of light that makes you squint against it. the crisp reflection off fresh winter snow or the blinding clarity of a frosty morning. It's the kind of light you might instinctively want to shield your eyes from, maybe even pop on some sunglasses. There are no shadows to soften the truth here, and no gentle warmth to obscure reality. Astrological Association. The King of Swords is of course connected to the air signs Libra, Aquarius and Gemini. Air energy emphasizes intellect, communication, strategy and clarity of thought. Some systems assign a single zodiac sign to each court card. For the King of Swords, you'll often see Aquarius or maybe Gemini suggested. But here's the thing, there are 16 court cards and only 12 signs, and for those of you who appreciate symmetry, hello, Virgo Moon here, that approach always felt a bit off. The tarot system is incredibly balanced. Every element, every number, colour, compass point and symbol has its place, and so assigning signs unevenly really does seem to upset that harmony. There are some systems that get around this by leaving the pages unassigned, but my preferred method is to approach court card zodiac correspondences in the same way that we do the aces, in which the King of Swords embodies the kingly energies of all of the air signs, Gemini, Libra and Aquarius. Each sign flavours his intellect and authority slightly differently, but all share the air element's essence. Gemini's King of Swords is sharp and adaptable and versatile. Think of a strategist who can pivot in conversation and debate with ease. They excel at analysis and seeking multiple angles simultaneously. Libra King of Swords is balanced and fair and diplomatic. This king seeks justice, weighing decisions carefully and ensuring harmony and fairness in his judgments. And the Aquarius King of Swords is innovative, visionary, but also detached. The Aquarius influence brings an unconventional approach, imagining possibilities beyond traditional thinking while maintaining rational clarity. Ultimately, tarot is a personal practice and there is no wrong system. I present these options not to confuse, but so you can choose with what resonates with you. Elemental dignities. We've already established that the King of Swords is of elemental air through the suit of swords, but the court cards carry another layer, the element of their rank, and this is where the king's unique signature begins to really shine. If we look at the chart on screen, we can see that pages are earth, knights are fire, queens are water, and kings are air. Again, some systems do assign these differently. What I'm showing you here is the traditional Golden Dawn classification system, which for me makes the most sense, and it is primarily the one I teach from. It aligns the cards' elemental energy with their expression of maturity, authority and mastery. The king represents the culmination of thought, intellect and strategy, so air makes sense for his rank too. When we looked at the Knight of Swords in the last video, we established that he was air too, at least as far as the fact he is of the suit of swords, but in terms of rank, knights are fire, so the Knight of Swords is a combination of air and fire. The Queen of Swords is a combination of air and water, but this king here, he is all air. And honestly, this is something that really makes this card very special. The King of Swords is what we would call exalted in his own element. Most court cards combine the elements, creating hybrid energies, but the King of Swords is air of air, and this is powerful. He doesn't outrank the Queen of Swords in a yin-yang sense, they balance each other as we've mentioned, but he is the most powerful swords court card in terms of pure elemental expression. He embodies the undiluted energy of his suit. If you look at the chart again, this is the same for the Queen of Cups and water, the Knight of Wands for fire, and the Page of Pentacles for earth, and so make a note of that for when we get around to those cards. You can imagine the King of Swords as the person who always steps in when clarity is needed. They are like a surgeon who stays focused in the operating theatre. They are the lawyer who handles drama with logic, or a teacher who walks into a chaotic classroom and restores order with their vibe. They're the friend that you call in a crisis, the one who's not going to soothe you with emotions but will hand you a clear, workable plan. Or they're a parent who gives you the advice that you needed in that moment. These are the ways this energy could show up as a person in someone's reading. In the next chapter, we'll layer in Modality, which shows how this elemental mastery moves from potential into action, and how the King of Swords actually expresses this air of air in the world around him. Modality. Now that we've established the King of Swords element through his suit, air, and his rank, also air, we can add the third layer of his signature, which is his modality. This is where we see how his energy expresses itself in the world, the way he initiates action, the way he influences others and interacts with circumstances. For court cards, modality works like this. Kings are cardinal, initiators, leaders, catalysts of action. Queens are fixed, stabilizers, sustainers and anchors of energy. Knights are mutable, movers, adapters, implementers of change, and pages do not have a modality as they represent beginner energy and are not yet operating at the level of strategic action. Again, this is the Golden Dawn system, and other systems may classify things differently. If your research shows a conflict, don't panic, just choose what resonates most for you. For the King of Swords, we now see an air of air in a cardinal sense. This is someone whose intellect is not only powerful and disciplined, but also decisive and action-orientated. Cardinal energy initiates, leads, and sets things in motion. In real-world terms, this could be a boss or a manager who gives clear and precise instructions while everyone else is still panicking. This could be a parent who makes firm, rational decisions for the family, like scheduling dentist appointments and holiday dinners with military precision. This could be a romantic partner who's annoyingly logical, who texts you the pros and cons of every decision and always knows where the groceries go. This could be a friend or a mentor who's your go-to when you're ready for some brutal, unvarnished truth, probably an air sign, but who you want to avoid if you just want to hear, "Everything's fine, you're amazing." In a reading, the King of Swords often pops up to say it's time to put on your thinking cap and actually use it. It signals that it's time to take charge of a situation with logic and clarity, rather than flailing around emotionally or hoping that everything magically resolves itself. This card is basically the intellectual drill sergeant of the tarot. This might mean tackling a project at work with a clear step-by-step plan, setting boundaries with people who keep testing them, or finally making a difficult decision that you've been overthinking for weeks. It can also show up as recognizing someone else's King of Swords energy in your life, someone who cuts through the drama and provides guidance, someone who's brutally honest but always effective. Think of it this way, the King of Swords isn't there to hold your hand or fluff your ego. He is here to hand you the blueprint, the map, and maybe a stern side eye if you start ignoring his extremely excellent advice. Magical tools and weapons. We've discussed the suit of swords, largely in terms of elemental air, thought, intellect, clarity. But we should never forget these are swords, literal tools and weapons. The sword represents mental clarity, truth, and justice, but it's also a sharp, cutting instrument. In the world of tarot, the swords are notorious for being the most challenging path I'm an air sign, I should know. Think about it. A whack over the head with a wand, yeah, that's gonna hurt for sure, but a whack over the head with a sword is a very different situation altogether. In tarot, throughout the progression of the swords, some swords are directed outward against others, like the Five of Swords, which shares a similar combative energy like the Five of Wands, but with higher stakes because, well, like I said, these are swords. Others are directed inwards, reflecting self-critique, mental struggles, or decisions with serious consequences. For example, the Two of Swords is blindfolded, holding two swords at her neck. This card can serve as a warning to be very careful, not just metaphorically, but literally. This is precarious territory. In the Three of Swords, well, the damage is already done, piercing hearts and revealing painful truths. In the Ten of Swords, we reach a dramatic end point where swords pierce completely, bad times. The Six of Swords has swords piercing the floor of a boat. Honestly, this is probably not the safest boat ride imaginable. If swords are your cargo, maybe reconsider how you transport them. Padding, sheaths, or just laying them down flat might be a good start. There's definitely a metaphor in here somewhere. In the Seven of Swords, the thief is holding the swords by the blades, which again is probably a bad idea. In the Four of Swords, the Sword of Damocles is hanging over someone's head, a constant precarious tension. The Sword of Damocles comes from an ancient Greek story, a king made to sit under a sword suspended by a single hair, showing that even power and success comes with danger and responsibility. But more about that when we get to the Four of Swords though. I'm trying really hard not to get distracted because the King of Swords would definitely disapprove of me rambling off topic. So, the King of Swords embodies mastery over the sword. He knows when to strike and when to hold back. He understands the responsibility of holding a sword, both literally and symbolically. So while we can discuss swords as air, intellect and mental energy, we must never lose sight of the fact that the sword is primarily a weapon, and a really deadly one at that. Respect it, understand its weight, and appreciate the sharpness. Elemental Quintessence. When we look at the court cards through the lens of elemental interaction, we're really talking about how two elements for each card combine and influence one another. In some of the other videos, we've used weather and alchemical metaphors to explore these interactions, like the combination of air and fire for the King of Wands, which can be unstable, volatile, or even destructive if not carefully managed. But for the King of Swords, the story is different because he is heir of air. There's no clash here, there's no compromise, there's no volatility. He is the pure distillation of his element, but in the same breath, there's no room for anything else here either. In chemical terms, while many elemental combinations create reactions, sometimes explosive, sometimes transformative, air combined with air under the King's mastery simply refines itself, producing clarity, precision and equilibrium. There's no dilution, no unnecessary sparks, just intellect and reason operating at full potential. When you see this card, you're not seeing a hybrid, you're not seeing a reactive combination of energies, you're seeing the undiluted high-octane essence of air operating with both authority and grace. Chakra and body correspondence. The King of Swords is deeply connected to both the throat chakra and the physical symptoms that govern thought, breath, and communication. Together, these reveal how the card's mental, verbal, and physiological energies intertwine. The throat chakra is the center of communication, truth, clarity, and expression. And when this card appears upright, it often highlights the querent's strengths in these areas. This might be somebody who's really good at expressing themselves, or offering clear advice, or leading with logic and fairness. The chakra alignment also mirrors the King's physical correspondences, the brain, the lungs, the nervous system, all of which support sharp thinking, calm breath, and steady decision making. Upright, this energy may show up as clear thinking under pressure, strong mental stamina, healthy breath control that supports calm communication, the ability to explain complex ideas with ease, giving a friend brutally honest but helpful guidance, negotiating with confidence and cutting through confusion. When the King of Swords appears reversed, however, both the throat chakra and the associated physical symptoms may be blocked or unbalanced, and this can affect communication, clarity, even the body's stress response. Reversed, this card may point to mental fog, overthinking or confusion, communication breakdown, or feeling unable to find your voice, dishonesty, twisted facts or hidden motives, shallow breathing, throat tension, or stress-related issues in the brain or in the nervous system. This can also speak of interpersonal friction where nothing gets resolved, or feeling mentally scattered during discussions or negotiations. In everyday life, these reversed energies might show up as arguing with a partner and realizing you're talking past each other, receiving advice that sounds convincing but is actually misleading, being unable to advocate for yourself because you can't clearly express your needs, and physical tension or shortness of breath in moments that require logic and calm. By looking at both the chakra and physical correspondences together, the querent gains a fuller picture of how their mental clarity, communication style, and physical state are linked, and where balance, rest, or conscious expression may be needed. Keep all this in mind when we get to the King of Swords in a health and wellness reading chapter. Magical pathworking and meditation use. Meditating with the King of Swords allows him to tap into his mastery of thought and intellect, receiving guidance that is precise and rational. To begin, visualize yourself sitting in a quiet space. Invite him in to share his wisdom and his clarity, and imagine receiving insights directly into your mind, like a gentle yet firm download of truth and strategy. During this meditation, you can focus on situations where you need clear decision-making, rational thought, truth-speaking, whether to yourself or others, and strategic problem-solving. A simple mantra to accompany this session could be clarity of mind, precision of thought, truth in action. Repeat this silently or out loud as you breathe in the King's energy, letting it align your intellect and your intention. The King of Swords is also highly useful in magical practice, especially when your spells or workings require mental discipline, strategy, or cutting through illusion. He is the perfect overseer for truth-seeking spells, such as uncovering lies or hidden motives, decision-making rituals when you need guidance on a difficult choice, mental clarity, and focus spells. These are especially good for studying, writing, or problem-solving, and cutting away negativity, illusions, or confusions akin to a psychic sword-clearing energy. I do a lot of spells, and I often use tarot cards to amplify the energy that I'm channeling. Often my clients will ask for tarot in the spells that I do for them, and usually this is not done blindly. I will find the card that I want for any given spell. If I'm doing a spell where emotions are not helpful and we just want the raw, honest truth no matter what, I might consider bringing the King of Swords into the working. Upright meaning. The King of Swords represents clarity, intellect, authority, and ethical judgment. This is mental mastery in action, strategic, fair, and unclouded by unnecessary emotion. Keywords would be clarity, intellect, authority, ethical judgment, and communication. When the King of Swords appears upright in a reading, especially a general reading without a specific focus, he often signals the presence of clear thinking, decisive action, and truth-telling energy. The card may indicate that logic and reason are required in the querent's current circumstances, or that these qualities are currently influencing their environment. In tangible terms, this energy can show up as a person in the querent's life. The king is often a literal person, someone who embodies intellect, authority, and ethical clarity. Examples could include a boss or a manager who communicates clearly and leads with fairness, although maybe slightly intimidating. This could be a parent who provides firm guidance, makes rational decisions, and helps others see situations clearly. This could be a romantic partner who is logical, reliable, and strategic, someone you turn to when planning or problem solving. This could be a friend or a mentor who is brutally honest but helpful, the one you go to when you want the truth and not flattery. This upright energy encourages the querent to recognize and engage with rational, disciplined guidance, either by embodying it themselves or acknowledging it in those around them. The King of Swords in this position is a reminder that clarity, ethics, and truth are not just ideals. They are active forces that can shape outcomes and intentions in meaningful ways. Reversed meaning. When the King of Swords appears reversed, his energy is blocked, misdirected, or distorted. The qualities of clarity, intellect, and authority are present, but they are twisted into cold detachment, misuse of power, or poor judgment. Keywords would be misuse of power, cold detachment, manipulation, poor judgment, and distorted communication. In a general reading, the reversed King of Swords often signals mental confusion, dishonesty, or unethical behaviour, either from the querent themselves or from someone in their environment. Logic might be clouded by ego, bias, or emotional repression, and communication can become sharp, cutting, or even manipulative. This energy can appear as a person in the querent's life, but be aware they may not be acting in alignment with truth or fairness. Some examples might include a boss or manager who is overly critical or nitpicky, or uses logic to justify unfair decisions. This could be a parent who is emotionally distant, rigidly enforcing rules without any regard for nuance or compassion. This could be a romantic partner who manipulates situations through cold reasoning or avoids emotional vulnerability. This could also be a friend or a mentor whose advice feels controlling, harsh, or self-serving rather than helpful. Alternatively, the reversed king may indicate that the querent themselves is struggling to think clearly, communicate effectively, or uphold ethical judgment. Perhaps they are second-guessing themselves, or being overly rigid, or for reasons they are unable to speak their truth. Love and relationships meaning. The upright King of Swords in a love reading represents an honest, communicative partner with strong boundaries and intellectual maturity. This person is direct, fair, and values truth in their relationships. They encourage clear communication, rational problem solving, and mutual respect. The keywords are honesty, communication, strong boundaries, intellectual connection, and fairness. Here are some example combinations in a love reading. If you have the King of Swords with the Ace of Cups, this speaks of emotional beginnings, guided by clear thinking. Maybe you've just started dating somebody new, and while the chemistry is real, you both are openly talking about expectations, boundaries, and what you want from the relationship. Maybe you're texting about your deal breakers over coffee, or have a heart-to-heart on a first weekend getaway. This relationship has strong potential because communication is honest from the start. This is not butterflies and wishful thinking. The King of Swords with the Two of Cups is a balanced, mutually respectful partnership. You and your partner might argue sometimes, but you always resolve conflicts through calm discussion and reasoning. Maybe your roommate annoys you, or work stress spills into your evening, but you sit down, You talk it through logically, and neither of you plays the silent treatment game. Mutual respect and intellectual understanding is going to keep love healthy here. The King of Swords with the Five of Pentacles represents support through tough times. Perhaps money is tight, or one of you is sick, or stress is mounting, but your partner steps in with practical, thoughtful solutions instead of panic or blame. Maybe they create a budget together, organise doctor's appointments, or calmly help you sort out insurance paperwork. It's love expressed through clear-headed action and not just romantic words. The King of Swords with the Lovers is a relationship requiring clear choices and honest dialogue. There is a major decision to make here. This could be moving in together, or a career change, or introducing children into the picture. And both partners are going to sit down and lay out pros and cons and discuss values, goals, and deal breakers openly. There's no avoidance, there's no wishful thinking, just clear-eyed, ethical decision making together, and this is going to strengthen trust and the bond. Reversed in a love reading, the King of Swords signals overly critical, emotionally detached, or manipulative tendencies. This could describe the querent, their partner, or someone influencing the relationship. Communication might be harsh, reasoning clouded by ego, or decisions lacking in empathy. Keywords are criticism, emotional detachment, manipulation, miscommunication, and rigid thinking. Here are some example combinations. The King of Swords reversed with the Ten of Swords is emotional pain caused by harsh words or manipulative actions. Your partner snaps at you during an argument, delivering cutting or sarcastic remarks that sting far more than the situation warrants. Or maybe someone withholds information or twists the truth, leaving you blindsided and hurt. Communication is sharp and damaging rather than constructive. The King of Swords reversed with the Seven of Cups is confusion or indecisiveness in love. Either your partner is overthinking every choice, imagining endless what-ifs about the relationship, or someone may be deceiving themselves or others about feelings, making promises they don't intend to keep, or sending mixed signals that leave everybody frustrated and uncertain. The King of Swords reversed with the Three of Swords is heartbreak through cold logic or emotional withdrawal. Your partner may pull away emotionally, analysing situations so coldly that it hurts your feelings, or makes decisions that prioritise logic over love. Perhaps they cancel plans, citing practicality without any empathy, or they end things in a way that feels calculated rather than compassionate. The King of Swords reversed with the Nine of Wands is relationship tension fueled by defensiveness or critical communication. Arguments might feel like a constant battle. One or both of you is defensive, critical, or nitpicky. Small disagreements are going to escalate because past resentments or unresolved issues are always lurking. This relationship feels like walking on eggshells rather than a safe, supportive space. Career or finance reading. The upright King of Swords in a career or finance reading represents strategic thinking, strong leadership, and a clear career path. This card signals the presence of clarity, precision, and ethical decision-making in professional life. It's about using intellect and reason to guide your work, make sound financial choices, and lead with authority. Keywords are strategic thinking, leadership, clear communication, ethical decision-making, and problem-solving. Here are some example combinations for a career and finances reading. The King of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles could represent a new job opportunity or a financial venture. Maybe you've been offered a promotion or a side gig, and instead of jumping in blindly, you're going to create a pros and cons list, research the company, and map out the potential outcomes. The King of Swords and the Three of Pentacles speaks of collaborative projects that are thriving. You're working on a team project at work or a community initiative, and the King of Swords shows up as the person who keeps everybody on task, clarifies roles, and communicates expectations clearly. Thanks to this guidance, meetings are going to be productive, deadlines are going to be met, and everybody knows exactly what they are responsible for. The King of Swords with the Ten of Pentacles speaks of long-term financial planning and stability. Maybe you're drafting a will, planning retirement, or setting up a family budget. With the King's energy, you're going to approach finances methodically, tracking expenses, making wise investments, and discussing plans with loved ones. The King of Swords with the Emperor speaks of leadership, authority, and structure. You're in a position where policies, rules, or guidelines do need to be implemented either at work or in a personal project. The King may represent a mentor or boss who provides clear, structured advice, helping you organize chaos into a functional system. Think setting up project management protocols, designing a team workflow, or restructuring a household budget efficiently. The reversed King of Swords in a career or finance reading warns of misuse of authority, poor communication, or unethical decision-making. Keywords are misuse of authority, poor communication, unethical decisions, manipulation, and confusion. Here are your example combinations. The King of Swords reversed with the Five of Pentacles speaks of financial stress or loss. You're handed a project at work, but your manager withholds critical information or budget numbers are miscommunicated, and you end up making mistakes that could have been avoided, leading to missed deadlines, financial strain, or feeling left out in the cold professionally. The King of Swords reversed with the Seven of Pentacles. This is delays or frustration in career growth. Maybe you've been waiting for a promotion or evaluating a long-term project, but indecision, poor guidance, or lack of planning is stalling progress. The King of Swords reversed with the Eight of Swords. This is feeling trapped professionally. You're overanalyzing every step at work, paralyzed by what-ifs, or being micromanaged by someone who insists on control rather than collaboration. The King of Swords reversed with the Tower is a sudden upheaval at work or in finances. This could be a company restructure, unexpected layoffs, or a financial miscalculation that throws your stability into chaos. Health and wellness meaning. The upright King of Swords in a health or wellness reading represents a disciplined, thoughtful approach to physical and mental well-being. The energy emphasizes clarity, strategic planning, and rational decision-making in lifestyles, fitness, nutrition, and self-care. Keywords are discipline, mental clarity, rational decision-making, structured routines, and balanced health. When the King of Swords appears upright, pay particular attention to the throat chakra, communication, truth-telling, self-expression, and body and physical correspondences such as the brain, lungs, and nervous system that we mentioned in a previous chapter. These areas thrive under disciplined, mindful care and can be strengthened through clear routines, breathing exercises, and mental clarity processes. Here are some relatable examples and combinations. The King of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles in a reading of this type could suggest you're starting a new health routine with a clear plan. Maybe you're joining the gym, beginning a nutritional plan, or scheduling some checkups. The King of Swords with the Three of Pentacles is collaborating, maybe with a trainer or a therapist or a nutritionalist, to follow structured guidance. The King of Swords with the Ten of Pentacles speaks of long-term wellness planning, creating a sustainable lifestyle for brain health and nervous system balance, integrating meditation or cognitive exercises. And the King of Swords and the Emperor is establishing structure and boundaries, implementing sleep schedules, balanced meals, and mindful breathing, all supporting the King's disciplined, mental clarity energy. The reversed King of Swords in this kind of reading signals mental stress, overthinking, rigidity, or tension, which can negatively affect both the body and the mind. Mental clarity is blocked, routines may be inconsistent or overly strict, and energy may be trapped in areas corresponding to the throat chakra and the brain, lungs or nervous system. Keywords are mental stress, overthinking, rigidity, tension and lack of clarity. Pay extra attention to neck and shoulder tension, respiratory issues or headaches, as these may be physical manifestations of blocked energy or overthinking. Mindful breathing, gentle stretches or relaxation exercises can help realign the king's disciplined energy in a healthier way. Here are some relatable examples with card combinations. The King of Swords reversed with the Five of Pentacles in a health and wellness reading could indicate stress or mismanagement, preventing self-care. This could be missed appointments or neglecting physical and mental health. The King of Swords reversed with the Seven of Pentacles could indicate overanalyzing progress in diet, fitness or wellness. The King of Swords reversed with the Eight of Swords could speak of feeling trapped in unhealthy routines and being indecisive about how to move forward with your health journey. The King of Swords reversed with the Tower could indicate sudden setbacks or accidents that are going to disrupt your routine. While the King of Swords can highlight areas of mental, emotional or physical tension, it is essential to remember that obviously tarot readings are guidance, not medical advice. If you notice anything in your cards that suggests a health concern, whether that's stress, tension or a potentially physical issue, always consult a qualified healthcare professional. You can use the insights from the cards as a tool for awareness and self-care, but let the trained experts provide diagnosis and treatment. Spiritual and personal growth meaning. The upright King of Swords in a personal growth or spiritual context represents mental mastery, ethical decision-making and intellectual growth. Keywords are mental clarity, ethical decision-making, intellectual growth, strategic thinking, and objective discernment. You could be faced with a difficult life choice, such as deciding whether to move cities for a job or an educational opportunity, and you're going to weigh up the pros and cons carefully, seeking advice logically rather than acting impulsively. Or you may find yourself in a conflict with a friend or family member, and instead of reacting emotionally, you're going to analyse the situation. You're going to communicate honestly, and you're going to aim for a fair resolution. Or you may be pursuing personal development, such as learning a new skill, studying a complex subject, or tackling a challenging project, and you're going to approach it methodically and with discipline. Or maybe you're guiding others, mentoring a colleague, helping a friend or teaching a class, and you may offer insight, wisdom and balanced advice. When reversed in a spiritual or personal growth reading, the King of Swords signals mental chaos, misuse of intellect or a disconnect from personal values. In this state, thinking may be clouded by ego, bias or emotional interference, and decisions may lack fairness or integrity. Here's your keywords: mental confusion, poor judgment, misuse of intellect, ethical disconnect, and lack of clarity. You may be overthinking a decision to the point of paralysis, second-guessing every option and letting stress or fear override rational thinking. You may find yourself justifying unethical behaviour, either in yourself or in others, because it seems convenient or aligns with short-term gain, rather than reflecting on long-term values. You're giving advice or making decisions for someone else, but you're allowing personal bias or impatience to cloud your judgment. Or maybe you're struggling with self-discipline or focus. Perhaps you're procrastinating on an important project or a study plan, allowing mental chaos to block growth and progress. Timing and predictive meaning. The King of Swords in timing or predictive questions signals clarity, strategic thinking and careful planning. When asking, "How soon will this happen?" the King emphasizes that timing is not random or pure luck. It's influenced by rational action, preparation and intellectual discernment. This energy is about measured, thoughtful timing rather than impulsive haste. In this kind of reading, your keywords when the King of Swords shows up would be clear timing, strategic planning, patience with decision making, divine or logical timing, and avoiding haste. You could be speaking of hours to days for smaller actions or decisions. The King of Swords can indicate that clarity or results could appear quickly once a rational, well-considered choice is made, like responding to an email with a carefully written proposal or making a decision that immediately shifts circumstances. In terms of weeks to months for larger, more complex goals, this card suggests that results may take some time to manifest, but success often depends on preparation, planning, and disciplined follow-through. For example, applying for a new role, completing a project, or resolving a conflict may unfold over several weeks if you maintain strategic focus. There are seasonal influences when this card arrives. Intellectual clarity and strategic action often flourish during Mercury-ruled months, which would be Gemini or Virgo season, for example, or during waxing moon phases, when new initiatives and plans can grow and take shape. Conversely, Mercury retrograde periods may indicate a need to reassess and refine strategy rather than pushing ahead. Days of the week, we're looking at Monday, which is ruled by the moon, which can support planning and reflection, while Wednesday, which is ruled by Mercury, is ideal for communication, contracts, or launching initiatives that require clarity and intellect. We're also looking at divine versus personal timing when this card shows up. Sometimes the energy of the King of Swords suggests that opportunities come when your preparation aligns with circumstances, so moving too hastily can cause mistakes. Other times, taking calculated action can accelerate timing, but it must be guided by strategy rather than impulse. Maybe you're waiting to hear back about a promotion or project approval. The King of Swords is here to remind you to double-check your words, clarify details, and ensure communication is precise. The response may come within days if you have been thorough, or longer if additional deliberation is needed. Your careful preparation is going to directly affect the timing. As a yes or no interpretation, the upright King of Swords in a yes-no reading generally signals yes, but, as usual, with an important caveat. The outcome depends on clear thinking, logical decision-making, and strategic action. Will I get the promotion? The King of Swords says yes, but only if you submit a carefully prepared application, communicate your achievements clearly, and approach the process strategically. Should I confront a friend about a conflict? The answer is yes, as long as you plan your words thoughtfully and communicate with honesty rather than reacting emotionally. Is this the right time to start a project? The answer is yes, provided you map out the steps, anticipate challenges, and approach it with a logical plan rather than rushing in blindly. The reversed King of Swords in a yes-no reading leans to no, or at the very least, caution advised. Is this a good time to sign a contract? Nope. The reversed king warns that details may be missed, advice could be misleading, or circumstances are not fully clarified. Should I confront my boss about an issue? No. Acting impulsively could cause unnecessary conflict or damage relationships, and careful planning or delayed timing is advised. Will this investment succeed? Caution. Emotional bias, overconfidence, or poor information may compromise your decision, so wait until you have clarity or seek expert guidance. Advice and guidance meaning. When the King of Swords appears in the advice or guidance position, such as in the Celtic cross spread, it urges the querent to approach the situation with clarity, rationality, and fairness. The guidance in these instances might be fair and rational. When giving advice, encourage the querent to evaluate all sides of a situation objectively, rather than being swayed by personal bias or emotions. For example, if someone is navigating a workplace conflict, they should weigh facts, listen to differing perspectives, and make decisions grounded in reason. Use intellect wisely. The King of Swords advises thinking strategically and planning ahead. If the querent is considering a career move or starting a project or managing finances, the guidance is to map out these steps carefully, to anticipate challenges and to act with forethought rather than rushing in impulsively. Speak the truth. This is where you will encourage your querent to communicate honestly and directly, even if the truth is uncomfortable. For instance, in a relationship, this might mean setting clear boundaries or voicing concerns calmly but assertively, rather than letting misunderstandings fester. Cut through confusion. This card often appears when the querent feels overwhelmed, misled, or unsure. The King of Swords advises them to clarify facts, ask pointed questions, and separate truth from noise. For example, if they're researching a big decision like a move or an investment, this might mean double-checking sources, asking for expert advice, and removing distractions that cloud judgment. Shadow or subconscious aspect. When exploring the shadow side of the King of Swords, the focus shifts from upright or reversed meanings to the internalized patterns, fears, and tendencies this energy may represent in the querent's psyche. For context, the King is not a good or bad card, rather it's a mirror, reflecting areas where intellect, authority, and clarity may be misapplied or over-relied upon at the expense of emotional awareness and connection. Some examples might be you notice yourself avoiding emotional conversations or uncomfortable feelings by overanalyzing situations, intellectualizing rather than connecting, or rationalizing decisions to avoid vulnerability. You may feel the need to control outcomes or others, believing that a logical solution is always the right one while dismissing intuition, empathy, or emotional nuance. In relationships, you might push people away or become overly critical, focusing on flaws and logic rather than understanding or compassion. At work or maybe in personal projects, prioritize perfectionism or overplan or micromanage or dismiss creative approaches, prioritizing intellect over balance. Integration. Shadow work with the King of Swords invites the querent to bring balance between intellect and emotion while integrating clarity and compassion. Here are some ways to integrate this energy. Reflective journaling. Explore where you overuse logic as a defense and notice any emotions that you might be avoiding. Mind-body practices. Breathwork, yoga, or mindful movement can help reconnect mental clarity with body and emotional awareness. Balanced decision-making. Practice making choices that honor both reason and feeling. Acknowledge when emotion is a valid guide. Empathy exercises in personal or professional interactions. Intentionally listen without judgment and balance advice with understanding. Meditative visualization. Imagine the King of Swords softening the rigidity of thought, allowing intuitive insight and emotional intelligence to flow alongside logic. By embracing the shadow, the querent transforms cold detachment into clarity with compassion, fear of inadequacy into confidence tempered with wisdom, and over-reliance on intellect into balanced discernment. Inner child wound theme. The King of Swords in the inner child or wounded theme contexts highlights early life experiences that shaped the querent's relationship with fairness, discipline, authority, and intellectual validation. Unlike the shadow aspect, which focuses on patterns and misapplied energy in the present, this lens is more psychological. It examines how childhood lessons and unmet needs influence thinking, decision-making, and interactions today. Perhaps as a child, the querent learned that being smart or logical earned praise, while emotional expression was ignored or punished or minimized. This can speak of early experience with inconsistent rules, favoritism, or unjust authority that may create a lifelong sensitivity to fairness, leading the querent to overanalyze or control situations to ensure equality. The querent might have grown up with strict routines or expectations, internalizing the lesson that discipline equals safety. If emotions were dismissed in childhood, the querent may now process feelings primarily through logic, struggling to connect with intuition or softer emotional experiences. Integration. Working with the inner child in relation to the King of Swords invites recognition and healing of early cognitive and emotional patterns. There are several ways that you can integrate this energy. You can explore moments from childhood where intellect or fairness was emphasized over emotional expression. Playful problem solving coexist, acknowledging the intelligence of the inner child alongside their emotional needs. Consciously affirm that worth is not dependent solely on intelligence or compliance, and practice self-validation for feelings, not just accomplishments. And imagine conversations with your younger self, offering clarity and guidance and compassion rather than criticism or rigid rules. Storytelling arc. The King of Swords represents the stage in the hero's journey where the mind has matured, knowledge has been gained, and intellect is wielded with responsibility and authority. All tarot readers are storytellers, and developing this skill means seeing how the King's energy fits into this broader narrative arc. He is the figure who brings clarity, strategy, and ethical judgment after the explorations and the trials of the page and the knight. In a reading, his placement can highlight where the querent, or a person in their life, is stepping into mastery of thought, decisiveness, and moral responsibility, guiding the story towards resolution and insight. Gem, crystal, herb, and plant correspondences. The King of Swords aligns with tools that sharpen the mind, clarify intention, and support truthful, strategic communication in the mineral realm. Clear quartz amplifies thought and cuts through confusion. Sapphire encourages ethical judgment and honest expression, and lapis lazuli deepens insight and self-awareness. Used in meditation or spellwork, these stones help anchor the king's intellectual precision and clarity of purpose. Likewise, his energy resonates with herbs and plants that promote focus and discernment. Sage clears mental and energetic clutter, rosemary strengthens memory and concentration, and bay supports wise decision-making and strategic thinking. Whether burned, infused, carried, or used in intention setting, these herbs work alongside their crystal counterparts to enhance the King of Swords' qualities: mental sharpness, ethical clarity, and rational problem solving. Historical and modern depictions. The King of Swords has a long history in tarot, dating back to the earliest Italian and French decks of the 15th and 16th centuries. In these early decks, the King of Swords was often depicted as a regal, armoured figure, holding a sword upright, symbolising authority, justice, and the application of intellect in leadership. He represented the archetype of rational power and lawful judgment, rather than personal characteristics. His focus was symbolic, emphasizing societal roles and moral responsibility rather than individualized personality. Over time, these early representations evolved as tarot shifted into a tool for personal insight, divination, and storytelling. Decks began to emphasize the king's psychological presence, hinting at intellectual mastery, strategy, and moral discernment. In the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the King of Swords is shown as a mature but stern man, seated on a decorated throne holding a sword upright with one hand while the other rests in his lap. He exudes authority, clarity, and decisiveness, framed by the wings of angels or sylphs on his throne to symbolize divine intellect and fairness. This depiction set the foundation for modern tarot readers to associate the King of Swords with mental mastery, truth, ethical judgment, and strategic leadership, providing a clear template for both upright and reversed interpretations. Contemporary decks often expand the King of Swords imagery using symbolism and personality to reflect deeper psychological and spiritual qualities. In the Wild Unknown Tarot, the king is depicted as the father of swords, a dignified owl carrying a rainbow sword in its claw, emphasizing wisdom, clarity, and a transformative intellect. In the Light Seer's Tarot, he is seated on a mountain, wind sweeping through his silver hair. He appears as an older, distinguished gentleman, surrounded by a dragonfly, raven, bat, and owl, adorned with feathers, symbolizing vision, insight, and connection to higher intelligence. In the Forest of Enchantment deck, he is known as the Keeper of Challenges, a wise, bearded man dressed in silver robes who carries a staff, featuring a raven's skull representing guidance through trials and the mastery of thought under difficulty. In the Everyday Witch Tarot, the King's Sword points to an open book, emphasizing learning and knowledge. His blue cloak, silvery hair, and library setting, alongside a white cat, highlight clarity, intellectual curiosity, and calm discernment. In the Tarot Apocalypse, the King of Swords is represented as Odin, god of wisdom, surrounded by ravens and wolves, merging archetypal intellect with spiritual guidance and insight. Here is a little guidance for reading decks beyond the RWS. Focus on the core archetype. Regardless of artistic differences, the King of Swords consistently embodies mental clarity, ethical judgment, authority, and strategic thought. Observe symbolic additions. Modern decks often add animals, colours, or environmental clues, such as the ravens or cats that we've seen, mountains, or an open book. Notice what these symbols suggest about intellect, communication, or perspective. Consider the mood and expression of the king. Facial expressions, posture, and surrounding energy often provide clues to the king's approach to intellect and to decision-making. You can blend traditional and modern meanings, use the RWS interpretations as your foundation, and then adapt for deck-specific imagery. And, as always, trust your intuition, especially in decks with more abstract or symbolic imagery. Let your intuition guide the story of the card. And there you have it. The King of Swords in all his intellectual, decisive, and commanding glory. Whether he appears as a person, an energy, or a piece of guidance, he is asking you to act with clarity, fairness, and authority, even if that means being the only adult in a room full of chaos. As we close this chapter, I want to do this in the spirit of the card, with precision, honesty, and a commitment to truth. Creating these videos takes hours of research, preparation, and care. Every script, every example, and every visual is crafted to give you a deep, practical, and genuinely useful understanding of the cards. At least I hope that's the case. If you feel moved to support this work, there are many ways that you can do so. Becoming a Patreon supporter, joining the channel as a member, using the thank you button, purchasing something from my shop, or simply sharing the video, leaving a comment, liking it, or even subscribing. Every form of support, big or small, directly sustains the creation of these tutorials. Starting in January 2026, I'll be launching a brand new series of bite-sized mini tutorials on tarot, witchcraft, and astrology. Each will come with a PDF resource sheet, and they will be exclusively available for paid Patreon supporters and channel members. If you've been wanting structured, easy to digest lessons to build your practice and knowledge, this is going to be the place to find that. And finally, as always, I have consulted the cards and asked them to determine the order of these deep dive tutorials. They've spoken, and they seem to be on a swords trip right now, because the next video up in this series will be the Ace of Swords. This is a card of new mental beginnings, fresh clarity, and decisive action. Until then, keep seeking clarity, trust your intellect, speak your truth, and wield your discernment wisely, just as the King of Swords would.